As the political and military partnership between Europe and the United States continues to fracture, NATO is turning its attention to New Zealand and the Indo-Pacific. The European Defence Minister has warned of the darkest time since World War II, and allies around the world, including New Zealand, are being urged to invest in defence spending. It comes as President Trump pressed on with his plans to negotiate a peace deal with President Putin, saying, quote, "I trust him, I know him very well," although he did concede that Ukraine will be involved in talks. Senior correspondent Lisette Raymer reports.
The NATO family photo is tradition, but this family is divided, and the smiles conceal a sense of gloom that is growing by the hour. With a single phone call, Donald Trump has reinstated Russia from international pariah to superpower. And while today Putin was playing it cool, on Russian television, they were buoyant. The anchorwoman asking the question, has Russia been promised Kyiv or Odessa? Trump today reiterated that he trusts President Putin, saying he knows him well.
And somebody said, oh, I should have called Zelensky first. I don't think so. I mean, we have to find out whether or not Russia wants to make a deal. I know that Zelensky wants to make a deal because he told me that.
But the US president's idea of what a deal could look like for Ukraine, revealed just a few days ago, must be haunting Kyiv.
They may be Russian someday, or they may not be Russian someday.
3 years into a grueling war, the Ukrainian president has proven his stamina and is digging in even deeper, insisting today that no deal will be made without Ukraine's involvement. But can he really fight on without America? Exactly 80 years ago, the Soviet, British and US leaders Stalin, Churchill and Roosevelt met in Crimea to carve up the world following World War II. The war-ravaged occupied countries were left out in the cold, and the great powers decided everything. Might was right. Now in 2025, that is a mantra the new US administration has firmly subscribed to.
We can talk all we want about values. Values are important. But you can't shoot values. You can't shoot flags, and you can't shoot strong speeches. There is no replacement for hard power.
Europe is desperate not to be sidelined, worried that a Trump-Putin partnership will squeeze them out of the conversation as well as Ukraine and result in a dirty deal.
There can be no negotiation about Ukraine without Ukraine, and Ukraine's voice must be at the heart of any talks.
But America has made it clear. European nations must up their military spending to 4 or 5%, a level higher even than the US. NATO has heard the warning and is scrambling.
Spend more, spend more. And
it's not just European allies being called out by the NATO Secretary-General, but also those in the Indo-Pacific region, with growing concerns about China.
I have sometimes more phone calls coming out of Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand from senior politicians there than from some NATO allies. So they're really worried about what's happening there. They want us to work closer together.
Our Defence Minister Judith Collins is due to enter the diplomatic chess match in Germany, where the US Vice President J.D. Vance has already touched down. The security conference promising to deliver more big moves by the United States.
President Trump will not allow anyone to turn Uncle Sam into Uncle Sucker.
Trump has revealed Russia will also be there, and so will Ukraine. Don't count on a family photo.
OK, Lisette, what's everyone expecting from this Munich security conference tomorrow?
Yeah, well, at the moment, we still don't know who exactly will be there from Russia and who will be there from Ukraine. We also don't know exactly what this meeting or these discussions will look like. But what is critical here, of course, is ensuring that Ukraine has a fair seat at the table. And this is sort of the first indication of what those negotiations and that process might look like. Trump today was asked by a reporter if he thought that Ukraine deserved to have an equal equal role in the peace talks, and he took an uncomfortable amount of time to reply to that question. Eventually, he said, "That's a very interesting question because I've always said it wasn't a good war to get into." And that alone really aligns with that messaging from Putin that really this war is Ukraine's fault. Zelensky really is the latest of these close US allies to realise that the world is a much colder place under the new American management. And Zelensky is definitely not alone. Canada again had a message from Donald Trump today. He reminded them that they would be far better off as the 51st state.
My goodness. Lisa Raymer, thanks so much.